Well, it took so long to upload the last one. Not sure if I'm going to have some overlap here. I'll try not to repeat myself. Anyway, as I was saying, Vardaman is asking in his mind, in his fragmented way of thinking, existential questions, which are questions about why I'm here, what I'm supposed to do, what I am actually composed of, etc., etc. And in this case, he's asking a question that well-off people don't generally ask. Is probably a question more often asked by people born in bad situations. Why was I born in a bad situation? And also the nature of, like I said, bananas versus trains. um, he walks around, his shadow walks around. He's talking about Pa. It was not her. I was there looking. I've gone over this where he feels like his mother is context, and when that context is gone, he doesn't identify it as her. She went away. Did she go as far as town? She went further than town. Did all those rabbits and possums go farther than town? God made the rabbits and possums. He made the train. Why must he make a different place for them to go if she is just like the rabbit? So again, here is they probably told him about heaven, and she went there, and he wants to know if heaven is as far as town. Um, okay, and they say it's further than town, and he's not unaccustomed to death. He's on a farm. He's probably killed rabbits, possums. He's definitely killed a fish, but they don't have the same elements that a human has. There's no personality that disappears. It's a thing that moves and then stops moving and turns into food, which is also what he's doing with the fish. The fish look like a fish, and then it becomes not fish, and then you eat it. What is the essence of the fish? And so, if Cash nails up the box, she is not a rabbit. Okay, that's not supposed to make sense. All it is a return to this first concern and some smashing together of the thoughts he had before. And so if Cash nails up the box, she is not a rabbit. And so if she is not a rabbit, I couldn't breathe in the crib, and Cash is going to nail it up. And so if she lets him, it is not her. I know. I was there. I saw when it did not be her. I saw. They think it is, and Cash is going to nail it up. So he thinks he has some special information that this is not her that they're going to nail up into the box that he saw when it became not her. It was not her because it was laying right yonder in the dirt, and now it's all chopped up. I chopped it up. It's laid in the kitchen in the bleeding pan, waiting to be cooked and et. So now there's the moment where he had the fish, as I mentioned before. He had the fish, and his mother was alive. He chopped up the fish, and then his mother was dead. So the shift, whatever, from life to death, happened at the same time. It also coincides with he seems to have moved on from blaming Peabody. All right, he is, as I mentioned before. I don't know if I mentioned before. I said it in class. He is. We don't know his exact age, but he's not old enough to think reasonably in abstractions like death and forever and heaven. Even is a concept that's too complicated. He wants to know physically where heaven is. Um, so he's tying cause and effect where obviously there is none, but he is taking correlation and saying it's causation. Then it wasn't, and she was, and now it is, and she wasn't. He's starting to use the verb to be. It was, have been, have, has, all these versions of to be. Past tense and present is what he's playing with here. Has to do with this idea of time and existence. To be is to exist. To not be is to not exist. So then it wasn't and she was. Right? The fish wasn't and she was. She did exist, and now it is and she wasn't. She's no longer. And tomorrow it will be cooked and et, and she will be him and Pa and Cash and Dewey Dell, and there won't be anything in the box, and so she can breathe. It was laying right yonder on the ground. I can get Vernon. He was there and he seen it. And with both of us, it will be, and then it will not be. Okay, so as crazy as this is, he's drawn a conclusion. He can get Vernon. Vernon was there when he arrived with the fish, if you recall, which was only a few pages ago. He was there and he seen it, the fish. And with both of us, it will be, and then it will not be. The death will not be, perhaps. All right. So he's thinking he can maybe like reconstruct the scene, the moment, and thereby bring back his mother. If he can recreate a moment in time that was earlier than now, then he can go back to that moment in time. It's not sensible this is the internal monologue of a boy trying to process without any help from any adults, right? So far, all Dewey Dell has done is ignored what he was saying, shaken him, and given him orders. His father just gives him orders, and everybody's ignoring him. Vernon actually was the one that gave him the most attention. All right, so we get a time check in Vernon's chapter. It was not near midnight, and it had set to rain. Now they don't know that she's died, and I'm not going to go over this whole chapter right now, but it's kind of a creepy, humorous scene where a little boy is standing there. He didn't even see him when he opened the door, and then he realized until I looked down and lowering the lamp, he looked like a drowned little puppy in them overalls with no hat. And Vardaman just starts saying stuff about you saw it, Vernon, and he doesn't know what he's talking about. But they basically get into their wagon. They assume that Addie has died correctly, and they ride the boy back home, which is about 4 miles. There's some stuff in here I'm going to go into later, but for now I'm going to let you off the hook.